Welcome to In the Stiffs podcast with me, Sam Aiston. I'm joined by my friends and former Shrewsbury teammates, Gavin Cowan and Dave Edwards. What did our number one fan make of it, Dave? Your mum?
She thinks the editing is top class. So it's
Colchester hooligan then.
Well, he enjoyed the games, he enjoyed the aftermath, so yeah.
Etihad campus. It's like being at a festival, isn't it? Brilliant for the kids.
Yeah.
My kids love going there, but it's not proper football.
Go on, mate, all the best. Let him shoot. And he's hit this rocket. He's caught it so sweet and it's flown. It couldn't be any more in the top corner.
Ploughing through the mud, like mud everywhere. All the fans singing, I love it.
Everything's very too middle class, isn't it? Whereas like when you got these old grounds, it's that working class. It's like everybody lived for the Saturday, didn't they? And
Gary Peters once said to me that this might be the only chance you get to play at Wembley. I was like, yeah, that's it.
I got absolutely beaten up by Clive Platt.
It's not like most clubs, you know, where there's like families and there's old blokes. It's Swansea and Cardiff. It's full of
on
blokes.
Stone Island.
35-year-old blokes like dripping in Burberry and Stone Island. Big Jan's just come in and he's just put like forearmed about four of our lads and gone, you lot get in there, and gone to his lot, pushed them all in there and basically broke it up.
That was my day out at the best ground I've ever played at. Flipping running around in Wellington boots.
Ivan Drago, Rocky IV.
Yeah.
And they're all stood up. All the fans are singing, cheerio, cheerio, cheerio. And I look up and my mate's son is there doing it as well. Cheerio, cheerio.
They've just come third in the Olympics.
So I've gone Grimsby. Ollie's like, Grimsby, what's that like? I said, really nice.
Game's back on, lads. So we're back at...
I've just two-footed Gav in the corner there. Okay, everybody, welcome to in this latest episode of In the Stiffs podcast. I think our last episode, that was a little bit more serious. It actually went down pretty well. Don't know what you felt, lads. I was a little bit concerned at first. When I listened to it before we put it out, thought, I don't know whether that could be a little bit dull, but it's been
a bit
quite...
doom and gloom, but I had loads of people say how interesting it was.
Yeah, I've had loads of good feedback. A few people fell asleep to it, but most people saying it was really good.
People are quite well received. I thought about maybe reinventing myself as a life coach or something like that. I thought challenge the high performance podcast. What did our number one fan make of it, Dave? Your mum?
Yeah, I was telling you boys before, wasn't I? She kind of said the best thing in her life is a Tuesday when the podcast comes out.
Oh.
She said how sad was she, but no, I've had a lot of people who kind of have said to me they look forward to a Tuesday for it coming out. I think with a lot of my friends, family, it's a bit of nostalgia. They're kind of hearing stories which they had maybe forgot about, and we're talking a lot of the stuff that we went through together was 15 years ago, and yeah, I think they find it really interesting.
And that they were part of as well. They were a big part of it, and
massive.
They remember the stories and probably they could probably give some stories themselves, couldn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Love that.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Who's your mum's favourite, Dave?
Be honest.
Obviously, apart from yourself, I'm presuming it's you.
She thinks the editing is top class. So it's
always your get out, Dave.
Really good editing.
It's always your get out,
so
Dave.
Politically correct, David. It's annoying.
Brilliant.
Right, well, this week we're going to look at stadiums. We've all played at some pretty good stadiums, I'd imagine. Played at some pretty terrible ones as well. Some intimidating
shocking ones.
Terrible ones. Gav, you start us off. Give us one of your favourites.
Oh, one of my favourites. I think we were just talking there, and it's... So for me, I grew up with my dad being a Colchester United supporter and like a full-on, like involved, very enthusiastic, shall we say.
Colchester hooligan then?
Well, he enjoyed the games, he enjoyed the aftermath, so yeah, probably... He was a supporter, let's say that. But obviously I used to go to the games. It was brilliant for me because we were close to London. So if we could ever get to a game there, get tickets. If not, Colchester United was a big part of our life. And then local surrounding teams as well, like Haybridge Swifts and Braintree Town and Wivenhoe Town. Like we'd always go to a game and my dad and my uncle could have a pint and me and my cousins could obviously run around. But because it was Layer Road, I don't know if... people remember it too well, but Layer Road was a really hostile environment. The supporters there were right on top of the pitch, and they played a massive part really in getting Colchester to the Championship. Dave, you were saying, didn't you? You played against Colchester there in the Championship, and it was called the Bar Side. So they were like the bar side Barmy Army, and they were like really like, out there and trying to get on the pitch, constantly screaming and shouting. And but the ground itself, I was lucky when I was younger, played in like a junior cup final and scored there, and it was like a brilliant big moment for me. But the ground itself was always like something, like you were just talking about nostalgia there. It was always something that I loved and was gutted to see them move. And I know a lot of my friends and people who've been going there years, they're all gutted to see it go. But I think because of that, I'm really fond of some of the grounds that I played at that are sort of quite reminiscent of that. So I talk about things like Bootham Crescent at York and Aldershot. Like Aldershot for me was a brilliant ground.
On the Colchester one, Gav, have you been to obviously the new stadium?
I haven't actually, which is like, that's crazy for me to think that I haven't been, but no, I haven't.
Yeah, because I imagine a bit like what Shrewsbury is. I know Shrewsbury works so hard to make their new stadium as much atmosphere as possible, but it's just not the same, is it? And I imagine Colchester is very similar. When you watch it on the highlights and things, it always seems a bit...
None of them are the same, though, are they? West Ham's the same. I've been there quite a few times. Millwall's, that's not the same, is it?
I like the grounds that have got soul. You know, like the ones that you go to, you can feel that a game was probably there 50, 60, 70 years ago.
James's Park in the middle of Newcastle City Centre.
It does all feel more working class,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
From sort of the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Liverpool Anfield's a
big
perfect
one.
example.
Yeah.
You walk through the streets of Anfield, don't you? Brilliant. As opposed to Man City, whereas, you get off at Etihad campus. It's like being at a festival, isn't it? Brilliant for the kids.
Yeah.
My kids love going there, but it's not a proper football ground.
It don't feel the same, does it? And I think, like, for me, again, like, I've just got grounds here that I'll come out and say, like Roots Hall at Southend. You know, like the feel of, like, I used to love playing there. Always did quite well there, but used to love playing, like I said, I've just said there, Aldershot and what was the other one? Luton. I know, obviously, for you, like you were saying, I know you can't stand it.
Horrendous. That's one of the worst.
I remember we played there and we were, I think it was 9,500 there and the place was rocking and we were 1-0 up and just completely silenced the crowd. And then with 20 minutes to go, we were getting absolutely battered. And there was a player, I don't know if you remember, Alex Lawless.
Yeah.
I think he's at Orient now.
Yeah.
He got the ball from 35 yards out and I remember shouting to the lads, "It's all right, lads, let him shoot. Go on, mate, all the best, let him shoot." And he's hit this rocket. He's caught it. You know when it jumps up on the bobble? He's caught it so sweet and it's flown. It couldn't be any more in the top corner.
But the atmosphere kicking into that goal is like, once he gets going, it's mad.
That's the one ground when the opposition have scored and the ground actually shook. The whole place just went mad.
It's amazing at Luton how the atmosphere is so good, because they have the one side obviously isn't there really. It's like, looks like some chalets just across the one side.
Still like that
now, yeah. But then they still get like 10, 11,000 now, I think, or what the capacity is in the Championship, and the atmosphere is always amazing. They always do well at Kenilworth Road. I was saying to you before, Gav, I was only there 6 months, but we never lost a home game. It was just such a fortress for us. We knew teams didn't like coming there. We didn't win an away game either. So,
So you balance it out.
But nice. I imagine an away team. I played there as an away team before. It's tough, isn't it?
And it was them grounds. It's them grounds like Layer Road, like Luton. It's just like Kenilworth Road. Those grounds with soul, I used to just really look forward to playing at. And then some of the new grounds, like you're saying, I won't mention them because I don't want to be disrespectful, but some of the new grounds, they've just got, like you say, they've got that feel, haven't they? They've got that
soulless.
Like the corners aren't there, are they? And it's like a little bit, there's always that breeze running through it and everything's very too middle class, isn't it? Whereas like when you got these old grounds, it's that working class. It's like everybody lived for the Saturday, didn't they? And look, the Aldershot one was me. I always remember them, very hostile crowd. Everybody used to say, get through 20 minutes, silence the crowd. You know, after 20 minutes, they start getting on their back. Yeah, so they're the type of grounds I used to love. I've got some, obviously, ones as we go through to speak about some of the bigger stadiums, but it's just that soul, like the old Gay Meadow, like, you know, everybody's just nostalgic about that place, aren't they? Just because of the feel of it.
What do you remember about the old Gay Meadow then, Dave?
It's such a huge part of my life. It really was. And I was devastated when it obviously went. But you can see why the club had to do it, and revenue-wise, corporate stuff. Absolutely. And it's the right thing to do. And obviously a lot more fans in the stadium now. I don't think you have the same atmosphere as what you had at Gay Meadow, because that could have 3,000 in it and it would be unreal. It'd be bouncing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So when you played someone like a Wrexham and there's 6,000 or 7,000 there, it felt like the roof was going to come off. It was brilliant. But yeah, I was there as a fan. But then I think when I came out of school as a first-year scholar there, we used to always be at the stadium. That's where you'd be most of the day because you're doing jobs. You meet there in the morning. We used to stay in, or used to all get dressed in the away dressing room. Had some scary moments in that dressing room. You know, when they you're bored, you're waiting for the first team to come in, you've done your jobs, you're just sitting around. They shut the door. We used to play this game where one of the lads would get their flip-flop and say, right, whoever drops it gets the beats. And we'd all be sat around. I'll be a first-year scholar, absolutely shitting myself. They're flinging flip-flops at you. You're trying your best to catch it. And as soon as you drop one, everyone just descends on you. And it's like absolutely just tucking up like a boxer. trying to protect your ribs, trying to protect your face. And the lads are proper going for you.
It was always to pass the time, wasn't it, when you were a YT? Anything to pass the time. You just get into these stupid games, wouldn't you? Like you say, pass the flip.
To do the best pranks, isn't it? You can do the
There'd always be a ball in there. You'd be playing 2-touch, all those sorts of stuff. Then I think as I got older and into the first team, I still spent as much time there. It was bizarre. We'd train at the training ground, and I would always come back to the stadium after with a few of the lads. We'd get a sandwich from the shop down the road, go back and eat it at the stadium.
What was that sandwich shop called?
Rods.
It was Rods, wasn't it?
I was devastated when that went. That place was unbelievable, wasn't it?
So you used to walk down there, get our sandwiches, walk back, eat it, and we'd spend hours there, me and a few of the lads my age, like Joe Hart, Ross Stevens, Gavin Cadwallader. We used to just knock around the stadium for hours. And for me, it's almost like that evolution of coming into adulthood for me. I've gone from like a 16, 17-year-old, then 18, 19. It was such a big part of my life at that time. And then used to just love playing there. It was brilliant.
Special place, so isn't it? I mean, I remember that because they need to move, didn't they? Because it was a mud heap, and obviously it flooded, didn't it, for like 2 months of the year. But yeah, the atmosphere on that on
the riverside.
Oh,
it's brilliant.
I used to love that.
Especially as a winger for you.
Yeah, just ploughing through the mud, like mud everywhere. All the fans singing, I love it.
I always remember. Is it the Wakeman end?
Yeah.
The Wakeman end, and we played against Hereford at home in an FA Cup game, and we were all over them. And I remember. It was like because obviously it's relatively close, isn't it? Like Hereford, and I remember the ball going across the goal line, and I'm scrambling to try and get to it, but I'm sort of in the mud trying to get there, and my hand's gone in, and my thumb's gone right into a sort of pile of mud, and then their lads stood on my hand, dislocated my thumb. But obviously there's so many fans in, they were like going, God, like really getting behind you, and I was doing everything I could to try and be brave, not to show I dislocated my thumb and trying to put it back in. But I always remember that feeling that was just coming from that Wakeman end, and it's almost like they were getting on the pitch, wasn't it? They were just going wild for it.
Yeah,
it's the standing as well, though, isn't it? The standing made a difference, didn't it? Because now obviously everybody sat down. It changes the atmosphere completely.
Yeah, I'll make you right on that as well.
Which obviously it needed to happen, didn't it? And like everything. But when I used to go and watch Newcastle, it's St James's Park. We used to stand the Gallagher end. Newcastle scored. You'd end up like 25 yards away from where you were stood, which is brilliant. But dangerous as well, isn't he? Just get picked up by being a concert and he's moving around.
That's amazing. Like St James's Park is like, still yet to go down. I know you would have played there and you've been there a million times.
You played there, Dave?
What a place.
Yeah, and it was one I was really looking forward to playing. I used to follow Newcastle a bit as a kid, and I was really looking forward to playing there. And it came I missed a few games through injuries and stuff when Wolves had been playing there, but then when I finally got the chance, I think I played there twice. I played both games.
The only time I ever played there was in the Youth Cup. And I played there as a 16-year-old, played against Burnley, drew 1-1 in the FA Youth Cup, and I scored like amazing. I still remember it now. We used to have a local paper called The Pink that had all the results in, and I scored in the Youth Cup.
The Pink one, wasn't it? We had the green one.
Oh no, it was just called The Pink. Yeah. So anyway, scored for Newcastle. So like brilliant, it'll be in the paper tonight. It'll be in the Pink. So on the inside page, it was like all about my goal. And everybody was ringing me up, going, Sam, you're in the paper. And I was like, I know, I scored a great goal. And they're like, no, on page 3. And there was like, remember when they used to do a face in the crowd? Like the circle someone in the crowd. So obviously Newcastle had played in the afternoon, and I was standing in one of the paddocks, and I had one face in the crowd. There was a circle around my face. But I was like devastated. It was so embarrassing. So I was on page 3 in this like white shirt, like looking like a cross between John Travolta and Art Garfunkel, like hair everywhere. And everybody's like, you're on page 3 for face in the crowd. I was like, no, yeah, I am, but I'm also on the back page for Aiston scores, like brilliant goal in the Youth Cup. Oh, I haven't seen that, but I've seen you in face in the crowd. What do you get for that? And I got like this big bag of like the Carling, because it was a Carling Premiership, and I was like, like that's proper ruined at that, but anyway, scored at St James's Park. Did he score at St James's Park, Dave?
No, I didn't.
Well,
no.
I have.
Great effort.
It's classed under the stadium at St James's Park, so all the steps you kind of walk down to come back up onto the pitch, don't you? It's
amazing.
Yeah, it's class.
But you, Dave, go on. What are we going to go for? Your best. Give us your best ground. You played at Wembley?
No.
Never played at Wembley?
No. Gary Peters once said to me that this might be the only chance you get to play at Wembley. I was like, yeah, that's it.
Cardiff?
Yeah, I played at the Millennium. I always said I wanted to play at the Millennium instead. Yeah. Millennium's great, but I never played there in front of a proper crowd. It was always with Wales, the time they were playing at the Millennium, it was only ever maybe 20,000. It sounds a lot, but in the Millennium, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like
was it hold there, Millennium?
What's that? 80,000.
80,000.
I've been there and it's been full for Wales.
Yeah. I've been to watch the rugby there. It's brilliant. And the cup finals.
I watched Man United Arsenal in the FA Cup final.
Yeah. So steep, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're on the ground like that in front of 20,000, it's rubbish.
Honestly, it's crap.
You're better off being in a tighter ground, aren't you? And you can't hear anything when it's like a big ground like that and you've hardly got anybody in there.
Do you remember the George Reynolds, the Darlington Stadium? And he built that as a replica, wasn't it, at the Riverside? And I remember going there for Shrewsbury, and they were like, "This stadium's unbelievable." And I was thinking, "I can't wait." Yeah. And we got there, we're walking around. I was thinking, "God, when the fans start flying,
20,000.
This place can be bouncing."
It's not.
I think it's about 3,500.
It's not.
I think it's that much.
There's only going to be one stand there, 2.5. I nearly signed for Dartland there, the new stadium. I filled a medical. I was going to sign there. I looked around the stadium again, same as you. I was like, "This is unbelievable. This is."
Yeah, I played there twice. Once for that England C. I played there for Shrewsbury. We won there for Shrewsbury. Had a great result. Do you play in that?
Everybody.
Oh, did you?
Everybody won there though, didn't they? So it was like 2,000 Dartland fans. No one could hear them. The pitch was unbelievable. The facilities were unbelievable. Like, I'll have a bit of this. We're knocking it about for fun. They're getting passed off the park every week, Dartland.
Oh, we beat them, didn't we? And we always remember that coming out, thinking, "Oh, it's gonna be electric." This, and there was like hardly anyone there.
Is it still there? Well, it's obviously still there. Does anyone play there?
Do they play now?
I think they do they use it for concerts and that now. Rugby. No, they don't play there anymore. They've got a new gaff now. It's nowhere near
like MK Dons, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's always unbelievable stadium. But there's
so what was that when we played against? Remember we played against MK Dons, and
we used to play at
that was when I got beat up by
the hockey
Clive
pitch.
Platt. Say again.
Used to be the hockey stadium.
That's it.
Didn't
Yeah, that's where we played, wasn't it? And
well, they're building that one. Yeah,
it was horrible, wasn't it?
The hockey stadium. Yeah, we won there in the playoffs, didn't we? Which to get through to the playoff final.
And when we drew 2-2, and Michael Symes got 2. Was it 2-2 or
Cookie? Andy
Cookie.
Andy
Sorry,
Cook
was
scored,
it? Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, I got absolutely beaten up by Clive Platt.
You talk about Millennium, like for me, the worst grounds playing at when we used to go to Swansea and Cardiff in the old grounds. That was
the
horrible.
Vetch and Linear.
Oh my goodness,
That's in this.
because.
So go on. What's the interesting fact about you then, Sam?
I know this.
Do you?
Yeah. I played at the last game at the Vetch. And
Remember
the
that.
first game at Swansea's new stadium.
That's it, yeah.
I played for Shrewsbury against Swansea last game of the season.
I knew you knew.
And then
You told me about 1,000
Swansea
times.
got promotion. And then obviously I went to Tranmere and I played in the first game.
Do you remember that game? Did you play in that game at the Vetch, the last ever game?
So our manager Gary Peters wasn't there, was he?
No, that's right.
He went scouting. He missed the last 3 games of the season because he went
season
scouting.
was over, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you've never seen that, have you? A manager just not come to the
Nah.
game. Mick Wadsworth, his assistant, took the game.
Let's know the result, lad.
Yeah, it was. But it was obviously amazing. It was packed. We lost 1-0, didn't we?
We lost 1-0.
Go on. Let me tell you about that as well, because I was playing on the right wing, I think, and their fullback's going to me, mate, Sam, you want to start getting over near the tunnel, like it's 5 minutes to go. Suddenly all their players starting to play, like they had about 7 of them on the right wing, and all their fans started lining on the pitch. And they're lads. It's not like most clubs, where there's like families and there's old blokes. It's Swansea and Cardiff. It's full of
on
blokes,
Stone Island.
35-year-old blokes like dripping in Burberry and Stone Island. They just lined the pitch, and their own players are all stand near the tunnel. I'm stood out right on the right wing, going, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I was like,
who was the left winger that played for Colchester as well? He was the one who was saying the Scouser. Do you remember him? Oh, I forget his name. But I always remember when we took. Do you remember at the start? What's her name? Catherine
Jenkins.
Jenkins. She sung at the start, didn't she? She sung at the start of the game. They paraded all the Swansea legends, John Toshak and all that. She was singing her opera and all that. Unbelievable. I was nearly in tears.
The fans had to watch us lot play.
All the lads were like welling up.
I can't play after this. This is too big. I feel a bit of an imposter, yeah?
And then to be fair, we absolutely battered them, didn't we? And
remember Kelvin missed a couple, didn't he?
He missed 2 sitters, didn't he? He was unbelievable.
We lost 1-0.
We lost 1-0. He was unplayable, Kelv, wasn't he? And then he had 2 sitters that he just we should have been 3 or 4-0 up, shouldn't we?
I remember their fans taking lumps of the turf and everything, wasn't it?
Well, my version of that was we'd said to the ref, whatever you do, the ref was like, look, I'm going to give you a minute to make your way over, give you the nod. Because it was literally like a sea of supporters on that side, wasn't it? And if we go on to the most intimidating, that day I was probably the most intimidated I've ever been.
Scared for you.
I'd say scared. He was like, no problem, lads. I'm going to let you know. Don't worry. Don't be... And they were literally now on the wall, stood on the wall, weren't they? And I was thinking, and Wilco was that side, wasn't he? Wilco was on with us, wasn't he?
From Stoke.
Wilco?
From
Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Wilkinson.
Andy Wilkinson, yeah. He was playing right back. So I'd seen Wilco, and he was like, he was on at Lee Trundle constantly. I was thinking, is it? Are they going at it? Yeah,
keep your mouth shut. Lee Trundle's an absolute legend. He's got 15,000 lads in Stone Island.
But what I didn't realise was he was asking for his shirt. So I thought it was going off between them. And Lee Trundle's trying to talk to him. He's like, And the next thing I know, Wilco's grabbed Lee Trundle, like wrestled his shirt off him, and he sprinted past me. I was thinking, what's he doing?
Gold dust on the last game of the bench.
Yeah. He sprinted past me. I was thinking, what's he doing? I then looked, and the referee must have blown his whistle, and those supporters have come over that wall. And I'll be honest, I shit myself.
He didn't really blow the whistle, his ref, because remember I was close to him because I was obviously playing centre midfield, and he said, as it was getting close, goes, I'm going to blow it in a second. And he actually picked up the ball first, started running,
the ref was
blew.
already going.
He was, honestly.
I think the ref's leaving it down the tunnel. I'm like, where's the ref gone?
Have you blown the whistle yet? Or
picked up the ball, started going, then blew his whistle as he's running.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think I was first in. I was like teared past everyone.
Well, I had a nightmare because Wilco ran past me. I wasn't switched off on enough to know what was going on. So I saw this sea of people coming towards me. I've turned on my toes, sprinted that way, but they've all started coming from that way. So I just got caught up in it. And do you remember we all got to the change? I was in my pants. Because they were going, take your fucking boots off. Take your fucking boots off. And I was going, okay, give me your fucking shorts. And I was like, yep, you can have them as well. And then some bloke, I went, mate, I've only got my pants.
You don't want slips, mate.
You don't want these, honestly. Flipping, no one wants these. I got in and everyone was just laughing. We're in the changing room. Thank our lucky stars. I just stood there in my pants. No boots, no shin pads, no socks, shorts, top.
Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish down there.
Pitch invasions are scary.
I also, another time, we played Swansea at Chester, and that was the playoff semi-final. I think we drawn at our place, or won 1-0 at our place, but we lost 2 or 3-0 at their place. And it was the same thing as last game of the season, because they were playing the final at Wembley. So it was the same happened again. Like 15,000 or whatever's in the crowd, and they've all started lining the pitch again. But the worst thing is in that game, in the game, we had Sean Reid, Peter Reid's brother, playing for us. He was like Peter Reid, but nastier. You can imagine that.
What?
Peter Reid, it's in the game anyway. Peter Reid's ended up smacking this lad in the face, and this lad's nose is burst, so Sean Reid's getting hammered off their fans the whole time. And Sean Reid's giving loads back to the fans. And I'm like, there's 15,000 of these. And like I said, it's not families, they're not kids. They're all aged between 25 and 35. They're ready to go. They're ready to kick off. They're a drop of a hat, yeah. So they're all the same. They're all lining the pitch. And they're the one that stood on the side of the pitch. I was like, oh, and it was all kicking off anyway because being this incident in the game. So we've all managed to get in the tunnel, same thing with the ref. And all the fans are going mental. But the fans knew that there was a bit of bother in the tunnel. So we're in the tunnel, Chester Swansea. There's a big scrap in the tunnel. We're all involved fighting with all the Swansea lads and that. All the fans are banging on the tunnel and everything, all kicking off. And Jan Moldy was their manager. And Big Jan's just come in and he's just put forearmed about 4 of our lads and gone, you lot get in there, and gone to his lot, pushed them all in there and basically broke it up. And we've all just got in our dressing room, we sat there going, oh my goodness.
That escalated quickly.
Tell the bus driver to hang on, we're just going to stop here for a little bit longer. And you could hear them all singing and shouting and banging. You thought, scary that though down there.
Yeah.
Then even the following season, I went to the new ground, the Swansea's new stadium, with their first game of the season for Tranmere. Beautiful, completely different, 20,000 all-seater,
Liberty Stadium.
Yeah, amazing stadium. The dressing rooms and that, I was here 3 months ago, it was an absolute dive. Looks unbelievable now. But even then, when we come out, I think we lost 1-0, I come out at the end of the game, and I was in my Tranmere tracksuit. I think Holly had come to pick me up, I think with her dad, and I said, where have you parked? He was like, we're parked 20 minutes away from the ground. What? I'm in my Tranmere tracksuit. Yeah, I'm thinking I was going to keep my head down. I've got this long curly hair. I've just played right wing for I'm a little scrap with Kevin Austin at left back or whatever like that. Thinking I'm in trouble here. But I remember walking through and feeling a little bit wary, thinking there's lads everywhere.
Yeah, they don't mess about today.
It's a different kind of supporter. It's it was all blokes. You Man City and it's just families, people from all over the place. You feel completely safe walking through the streets of Swansea. I'm thinking, someone sees this little Tranmere badge here. I thought, thank goodness we're lost.
They're a different breed, aren't they? I did my YT with 2 lads from Swansea, the Swansea Jacks, aren't they? They're called. Yeah.
The Jacks, yeah.
These lads were flipping puddled. They would when we were talking about those moments when you're a YT and you're bored. Obviously testosterone and that, fights break out and that, don't they? Them two they'd be like, yeah, right, the Welsh against the English, and we'd be like, there's 12 of us, there's 2 of you, and they go, yeah. They'd fancy themselves, when you think, flipping stay away. They were brilliant lads. They were the type of lads that terrorise you, but they wouldn't let anyone else touch you.
Great set of people.
Yeah, amazing.
But I think that's probably for me.
Gavin Chesterfield and Chris Holloway, they were called. Gavin Chesterfield now is I think he's the manager of Barry Town, and he's he's a bit of a big deal at the Welsh FA, isn't he? Good player he was, but he was proper like, add a bit about him.
Hard as nails now, yeah. We
is
played
he?
him this season, yeah.
Is he? Brilliant.
Is that one of the worst for you then? I mean, for me, Swansea and Cardiff away back in the day.
That Swansea one
was horrible. I played against them loads
I wasn't as brave as what Peter Reid's brother was. I remember I went into the corner and I was so looking forward to it. Lee Trundle pulled me right out wide and I was thinking, all that Soccer AM stuff, I was thinking, he's got nowhere to go here. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Anyway, I've gone in and he's done that dragon push. I've missed him. So I've had to foul him, bring him down. And as I've got up, getting loads of stick, and I've turned to the crowd. And as I've turned to the crowd to sort of say something back, I thought better of it. I thought I'll leave that. It's not the day, it's not the time. Yeah, walk away. And
there's a couple of grounds that you don't get involved with. I think that's one of them, especially in the old ground. I think now you feel safer, don't you?
Even the Swansea players, weren't they? Like you were saying, they were going, lads.
That's what scared me. That's what scared me, because the Swansea players are panicking. They're starting to panic. They're the ones like trying to get off the. I'm like, they love you. Like, you just got promotion. They're all singing your name. If you're scared, I should be proper.
All the lads were around the coach. Do you remember after that when we got on the coach and the young lads and that, and they were smashing the side of the
stuff at the coach.
Chucking stuff at the coach. Like, driver, start the engine. Let's go.
You've beat us. You've got promoted. Imagine if they'd gone the other way. Imagine if we'd done 2-0 or something.
Flipping it. Yeah, I wouldn't have fancied that at all.
I've got a couple of belting ones for intimidation, just from Wales days, because obviously we played all over Europe and stuff like that. There's two I'll mention. The first one, we played Russia away, and we played in Moscow, Lokomotiv Moscow, and it's a real hostile place. Anyway, we played in like the September, October time, I think it was, and it was like freezing cold there already. But we played at Lokomotiv and got to the stadium. We come out, beautiful stadium, walking around the pitch. Yeah, this is lovely. Then all of a sudden, we come out for the anthems before the game. We sing the Welsh anthem first. You can only hear each other singing, really. You can't hear the Welsh fans because they're so far in the corner. And then the Russian anthem comes on, and it's like Ivan Drago, Rocky IV. Yeah. And they're all stood up, all hands across their chest, all looking behind the one goal. And all of a sudden, this massive flag gets unveiled as the anthem's going on. And it was like a Viking or something. It was this huge soldier anyway with a sword and a shield, and it covered the whole end behind the goal. And the guys, you see all the like these 50-year-old men with all the Russian hats on, crying their eyes out, but so patriotic. And I thought, wow, we're going to war here. We actually did quite well then. Like your mate Steve Evans, he came on at the end as well, but we just didn't manage to hold on. So that was an experience. But the main one was we played
different level up. You know, we're saying about that, but like when you're in Russia, 100%.
But you know, if it's going to kick off, then you're in all sorts of trouble in a country like that. But then, more recently, we played Serbia in a World Cup qualifier.
Another one.
And it was a bit of an eye-opener, actually, sort of around the ground anyway, driving to the training ground and things like that when we was over there. A lot of poverty around there. But we got to the stadium, and it was we played at Red Star Belgrade, and we needed a result, really, because we had too many draws in the qualifiers. And it was crazy because the actual changing rooms were outside the stadium. So you'd pull up, and it's almost like porta cabins, not luxurious, all just little porta cabins, but they're actually outside the stadium. And then you start to make you walk onto the pitch, and they call it the Tunnel of Death or something there. And
it takes then, isn't it?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's a good start, isn't it?
Just down here, lads, through the Tunnel of Death. The what? Sorry, the Tunnel of Death, lads.
Where does that lead to?
Okay.
So it's bad enough before that. So when we got there in our tracksuits, we've gone to look at the pitch, and it's about a 2-minute walk through this tunnel, and what it's like is like a subway you'd see in America or something like that, a real low roof, narrow, but it was all in like, it had been painted white, but it was all kind of grotty, but it was just graffiti everywhere, and it was all like the Red Star Ultras have put all their stuff in there, and it's narrow in there.
Yeah, the Ultras.
And as you're going under, you can start to hear that, like as it gets towards the game, you can start to hear the fans. So we're walking down the tunnel, it's getting longer and longer, and then just as you're approaching maybe the last 50 yards of the tunnel, you can kind of see a little bit of light at the end, and all of a sudden the noise is kind of like sucking itself down the tunnel. It's noisy, and the last maybe 15 yards of it is just cages as you're then coming into the stadium, and you got all the fans. Fans are on top of the cage, like you're kind of walking through, mate. You're petrified. Honestly, it's like it was the most scariest but amazing experience at the same time.
Yeah, the adrenaline.
Because this is what you want to play in, and when the anthems are going and everyone's just going mad, and then we took the lead. We went 1-0 up. Aaron Ramsey scored a penalty, and it just went silent. And all of a sudden, they just started like hurling abuse at everyone. And then Mitrovic scored with about 20 minutes to go, and you should have seen this place. it was like a war, mate. Honestly, there was flares everywhere, all fans climbing over each other. But if you get the chance to Google it, Google Red Star Belgrade Tunnel. It is the most
It's funny you
strange
say that.
experience ever. But it was amazing though. It's just something I thought it's almost like a bucket list thing. Yeah, I've done that. That is just insane.
It's funny, innit? I see an interview with that Mitrovic recently, and he was saying like the pinnacle of his career is playing for his country. He was
With them boys behind you.
yeah,
Wow.
He was like, because he did he
If one experience, if you play well,
yeah, well, that's what I think. What he was talking about, I think, did he say something about he'd missed a chance or something, and they'd got eliminated, but then he scored. I think he come back 2 years later and he scored the clincher to get them into either the like World Cup or whatever it was. And he was just saying it's the greatest moment of his life ever. And like they're showing the replay and that. That's how they just die hard.
must
Don't
be.
they?
You score a goal like that and get that sort of reaction from a group of people, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that is
Can't be much better, can
amazing.
there?
No.
We had a lad at Wolves called Nenad Milias who come from Serbia, and he was a bit of a legend at Red Star Belgrade. And he said when they played Partizan Belgrade, so the huge derby, he said if they won, then they'd live like kings for the week. Like everyone was buzzing. But if they lost, they'd have to go back to the hotel and they'd have to stay in the hotel for the whole week. So they couldn't go home. They said they couldn't go home if they lost to Partizan. He said it was just mental. It's like,
Your mate, you're like Gav playing in defence, just drops one a bit short.
Yeah.
And you just go, what have you done? What have you done? That's
honestly,
pressure,
so
that, isn't it?
So we don't obviously look at in our country. It's I think it's the be all and end all at times, but when you go and play something like that, it literally
puts
is
it in perspective.
Yeah,
Flipping it, yeah. That's next level stuff, innit?
Yeah.
Like you say,
Yeah,
they just
Eastern European, isn't it?
That's obviously most intimidating. Not the best, but most intimidating.
Most intimidating. Yeah,
Best Millennium.
I do love the Millennium. I've never played in it in front
didn't
of a
get
full
it at full,
crowd.
did you?
No, I think some classic sort of old school English grounds I loved. I've got
Anfield.
Anfield, I think, is number one. It's always somewhere I wanted to play. Villa Park, love Villa Park.
see. I've got Villa Park on mine.
It's incredible. It was bittersweet for me. We drew there the first time for Wolves, and say the atmosphere is always class. And it's a bit of a derby when Wolves play there.
Yeah.
But the second time I played there, played for Reading. I got sent off after half an hour. 2 bookings. Second one on
What
Grealish.
did you do, Dave?
It was 2 bookings, so like in quick succession as well. So it was schoolboy, but the second one was on Grealish, just too quick for me. But the worst was I had a couple of friends there who were giving me a lift home, and then also a guy who I work with and his son. And as I'm walking down into the tunnel, they stood behind the goal, and all the fans are singing "Cheerio, cheerio, cheerio." And I look up, and my mate's son is there doing it as well. Cheerio, cheerio.
Right, mate.
With you in a car in an hour.
We're travelling back together.
You can walk, mate.
But that's a horrible experience because Villa Park underneath the stadium is it's beautiful, lovely, old school dressing
Yeah, it is,
rooms,
yeah.
things like that.
I played at Villa Park when we got to the trophy final, and it wasn't full, but obviously for me, like Villa Park,
It's
I
insane.
think 25,000 or whatever. It was. I was totally overawed by it. I was, so to have it full like you would have done, I can't even
I'll
imagine.
tell you what's not nice is going in at 0-0 after half an hour and I'm waiting in the dressing room. coming at half time, they're still 0-0. The lads are like losing their head at me. Like, what are you doing? You're 33 at the time, you should know, or 32, you should know better.
Yeah, thanks.
There's nothing you can say as you hold your hands up, but then wait in second off, because once you've been sent off, you're not allowed back out, are you?
No, you can't.
So you've got to wait. Then you're just there and you hear one cheer. Christ, 1-0 down, another cheer, 2-0.
I think
3-0, the lads coming absolutely knackered, being run ragged by Villa for 45 minutes. Horrible.
On the bright side, your GPS will be through the roof.
the lads come in and you're just like, sorry, lads.
Yeah.
That is one of the worst
It's
feelings
horrible.
in football when you get sent off. I mean, I've been sent off a few times as well, and you go in that dressing room and you sit down and you think,
Waiting. You don't have to go and have a shower on, or do you?
Worst
you're
feeling.
like, please, lads, please get a result.
Yeah.
Get a result. For us."
Just
And you hear,
just hang in there.
"Oh,"
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh no, we're going one down. Lads come in, cut eyes, like breathing out. I go, oh no, sorry everybody, sorry Gaffer.
And then a few of the old school ones is sort of the ones I like. Goodison Park, amazing as well. Like playing there.
Again, soul, a ground with soul, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
I've never even been. Have I? Not even
I'm
a fan.
desperate to go there. Desperate to go
Goodison's
there.
brilliant. And then the Boleyn Ground or Upton Park, whatever it was, it's intimidating behind the goal. The goal they kicked to second half,
Yeah.
it is lively. And they always remember the announcer on the day. So he's there reading out the teams, and it's when they had like Payet and players like that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's reading out the team and he's like saying, number 19, James Collins. And then he goes, and we have got a treat for you today. Number 8, Dimmy Payet. He was saying about all the players. I thought, oh no, we're in for a game here. But so I think the old school ones, the other ones, they've like you look at the new grounds in the Premier League, they've as you said, they've lost their soul a little bit. And you understand why they've got to do it. They're huge football clubs, but.
And lovely to play in, but not the same atmosphere. You know,
very grand and very lovely, and great to take the family. It's great to take my kids and take my wife along, and like even she'll come to them stadiums. You know what I mean? But like you say, those old ones were so
like the old grounds because they're looking a bit tattered now, aren't they? But like even say like in Old Trafford, and it was like been at Old Trafford and Highbury and all them, but like Old and Villa, they're like grand, aren't they? Still, but like but we're still with loads of soul. I mean, they're the best. I think they're the best. I mean, I haven't been in like Man City and stuff, all the new ones anyway, so I don't know.
You find with the new ones,
not in the dressing rooms.
When you turn up, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. But then as the game kicks off and you can't really hear the fans, you're thinking there's 60,000 here, it should be lively.
Yeah.
Well, the dressing room's not all the same and stuff now as well. I mean,
I'd say more of the championship sort of style stadiums, like the Cardiffs and the Liberty and places like that. It's very much they picked
similar.
up the same template from everywhere and gone and built it. It's
when
very
you were talking
similar.
about before, and I was trying to think of the different grounds, and I was saying I can't
They
really
all look the same.
between loads of the grounds like the Swansea ground and Forest, and loads of these other grounds I couldn't really think about.
I will say about the so say City and Arsenal, for instance, they have their dressing room, so it's very grand inside, but they've obviously done it to upset away teams because it's really awkward. The dressing rooms, they're big, but there's kind of walls everywhere, so you're not all sat in the same area. You're kind of all dotted around corners and things like that, whereas you go in the home dressing room at Arsenal, it's just a perfect circle, so everyone can see. Same with Man City.
But still though, like when you say it's like to upset the other team, it's not a massive upheaval, is it? To walk around. It used
it's
to
not when
be.
I'm in Accrington, like when I used to go to Accrington away, and he's in a Portaloo or something like that, or Rotherham away. I remember that one in a Portaloo as well. Like
the Accrington
one with one bed just in the middle of it.
There's some horrible stadiums in there, small
porta cabins, and I remember what they'd done is they'd turned the heating off. It was freezing cold, and they'd sprayed they'd hosed the walls with water, so like even all the benches and the pegs and everything were like dripping wet or frozen, and it was like showers were cold. So I think walking around the corner in the changing room's all right.
It's enough to upset some of the top players, though, isn't it? But they haven't been.
Aguero's like, I'm not walking around this corner here. I've got to go all the way over there to get my bottle of Lucozade out of that fridge.
They obviously haven't been to Macclesfield and places like that. Those tiny dressing rooms.
Macclesfield as well, isn't it?
But when you talk about intimidating, I played for that England C. We played against. I got the letter through. Been selected for England C.
What we calling it again?
The best in the non-league.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the best of the worst, whatever you want to do. It was on honour. But it was the letter had come through. You're playing against Iraq. So I was like, Iraq, right? Okay.
I hope that's at home.
I was like, yeah. And they were like, you're playing at Macclesfield. I was like, right, okay. Jake Sedgemore played in it, and anyway, obviously it's Iraq, isn't it? We're going to smash these to pieces, no problem. They've done no research. Well, I assume Paul Fairclough, I'm sure the management staff did, but the players were just like, it's Iraq. We're just going to absolutely run them into the ground. And we went 1-0 up in about 5 minutes. Liam Hatch scored. So obviously we're like, brilliant. This will just carry on and easy. Yeah, we got absolutely destroyed. We lost 4-1. The ground was packed with Iraqis who were obviously lived close by. The whole stadium was packed. So you know the stand behind the dugouts, that was all sort of, I suppose, the English supporters. The rest of the ground was Iraqi supporters. And every time they scored, they invaded the pitch. And not like 30 of them,
took over the pitch.
3,000 of them, like absolutely. And that was really scary. But they were lovely, coming over and they were shaking your hand. They were invading the pitch every single time. So the game ran over. And then afterwards, come out and we went, flipping it. We didn't expect them to be that good. And they went, yeah, they've just come third in the Olympics. We're like, well, no one told us that before the game, did they? Flip it. We got absolutely like they literally.
I'd done a better warm-up if I'd known.
Oh, mate, they absolutely bopped us. Like we weren't even there. They were so good. Really, really, like great people as well.
Imagine you boys walking around your England tracksuits before the game as well, looking $1 million.
Proper having ourselves like, we're England, we're going to absolutely run all over you. Yeah, we got very humbled that day, and they were so good technically, so fit. And like I say, they'd just come back from the Olympics and they were sort of doing their, I suppose, like a cool-down tour. Yeah, they were basically cooling down against us, walking the park.
I think you have grounds, though, don't you, that you sort of, whether or not they're the best or whatever, but you have ones that, like, favourites. Like, I always had, like, with Forest, not Forest, it was always a great atmosphere, and there was always things happening. Like I must have played there about 4 times in like a proper mix. Like I had a couple of great games and a couple of like nightmares. Like I said, I think I played for Northampton and I had an absolute blinder one time. I was like, tell you what, I'd be surprised if Forest don't come in next week. They didn't. When I played another, and remember, I told you, I think I've mentioned it before, when I played for Tranmere and I came on as sub and then got sub back. That was at Forest as well.
County ground.
I had another one that Forest played really well, but I remember I was on the edge of the box. I think that might have been Northampton again. I was on the edge of the box. I don't know why I was on the edge of the box. It wasn't for a shot. I think from a corner. I think it was just if they broke.
Edge of your own box.
I was on the edge of their box for a corner for us, and I think it was in case they broke, I would get back and probably quick enough to foul them before they got into our half. The crosses come in, like a schools like Bradford.
Yeah.
Like the crosses come. I don't think they've meant to. Obviously, I presume they haven't meant to hit me 25 yards out on the volley. If they have,
if they have, you need to know your players.
Yeah, know your players. That's more his fault than my fault. If that is the case.
Yeah.
And I remember the ball coming across, and I remember like trying to just think, I'll hit this on the volley. I'd played really well, and you're in a bit of a zone, like, and you're trying things, and you're having a really good game. I remember just trying to hit this volley. I remember like putting my leg back with all my power, just swinging my foot. And I remember somehow just completely missed the ball. Like it's a size 5 mitre. I've got me size 9 Puma Kings on, and just thought, literally made, like normally like you shanky or something, just literally no contact.
And they've
gone on the break, so all the fans are like, it's 25,000 Forest fans, and for the next 10 minutes, like every time I got the ball, and I was just trying to like pass it, and I was just passing it, and they were going, hey, I passed it. I remember thinking I totally ruined the game again. I thought I'd play really well, but I think always there, Forest, something always happened for me. It was always a game where I thought, like, what's going to happen today? And there was always a big incident. But that was a good ground. I remember coming up at, I remember arriving at the ground, and it was always rammed. I just remember being busy all the time. And it's just like proper fans, proper football stadium. I remember thinking, it'd be great to be a fan. Because I think when you're on the team bus sometimes, I know the fans will all want to be on the bus, but sometimes when you're on the bus, you think, be great to be a fan, wouldn't it? Now, and like now, obviously now I get a chance to do it, and we go to the matches with our kids and that. It's brilliant, isn't it? To go on your way end at Newcastle or something like I do now, it's the best thing ever. But I suppose if you're a fan, you want to be on the bus.
Exactly, it's strange.
But yeah, Forest for me is always one that always makes me smile, and you just think, just so eventful, like 4 games, but just eventful, like loads of games. Like Macclesfield, I must have played there 5 times. I can't really remember. Yeah,
and again, another ground with soul, history. Like you think of all the things that have gone on there, and then you've got your own experiences.
Just in my career.
Yeah. When we're talking about like best grounds, I think like mine's got to be Villa Park over here. Like, I played at Hillsborough, but just only in a reserve game. But like at Villa Park, we played in the trophy final. You're saying about experiences, and like we went there as absolute favourites. Like we got there to the hotel 2 days before the game. Absolute favourites. Got pulled in on the first day to say that we'd signed a deal with Puma, so we all had to wear Puma boots. We got given the Puma boots 2 hours before kick-off. They were like Wellington boots.
Blisters everywhere.
Yeah, this is a really good insight into non-league football at the time. We got there 2 days before, and obviously we just assumed we were going to be training, going somewhere. We were probably just trained at Birmingham City's training ground or something like that. Yeah, we didn't do anything for 2 days. And the heating in the hotel was through the roof. So we were doing everything we could just to go out for walks. And I always remember on the day, we got there and we were buzzing. And that was it as well. We'd signed with Puma King. We had to wear tracksuits. So obviously you go on the trophy final to Villa Park. You're wearing a suit, aren't you? We didn't. We wore tracksuits. So we had Puma King tracksuits. We had these Puma King boots that were like the Wellington boots. It was boiling hot. We'd been stuck in this hotel for 2 days, taking nothing away from. I think we lost to Hensford. Yeah, Hensford. And take nothing away from them because they deserved to win the game. But we literally were running past each other in the warm up, trying to be buzzing about the game because we're playing at Villa Park, and looking at each other going, mate, I've got zero energy in me. I was running past Ty Gooden going, you all right? He was like, no, mate, I can't breathe.
Hensford live 20 minutes down the road. They've had a great couple of days.
They had nothing to lose. They were like the underdogs, and we were in all sorts of trouble. And I remember about 5 minutes into the game, still hadn't touched the ball. So obviously you just want that first touch, don't you? You want that first header. You want to get to the ball. The ball come to me, and as it's come towards me, I felt like I had concrete in my boots, and I literally couldn't move my legs. Lad nips in front of me. He's like through and on goes my mate now, Palms, and he's Carl Palmer. And he's gone through, wrestled me out of the way, sprinted past me, gone through on goal. And how he's missed, I don't know. And I was just thinking, oh my God, this is going to be the longest day of our lives. Went 1-0 down, got to 2-1, and that was it then. Oh, thank God, Lee Boylan's got us out of it. Flipping, gone to 2-1. That'll be it now, be cruising. They got it to 2-2, and then in injury time, they had a centre-half who'd been there for like 15 years, never scored for the club. And the ball's fallen to him on the half volley, 22 yards out, and he's hit it and couldn't have hit it any sweeter in the top corner. That was it. All she wrote. That was my day out at the best ground I've ever played at. Flipping, running around in Wellington boots. Devastated.
There's nothing worse. So if you're struggling to breathe, or it's like the first game of the season. Have you played anywhere really hot then, Dave?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah,
That's hard.
But nothing really. I think that the hottest I've played in is probably it was only a friend who played Mexico. We played it in New York in the summer. That was proper hot. In the Euros first game in Bordeaux, that was really hot. But then I think British summertime first game of the season.
Yeah,
they've had some absolute belters.
Yeah,
there where it is like dry mouth.
Yeah,
horrible. 5 minutes in, you're just desperate for a drink.
It's not great for a ginger either. Like, literally within 2 minutes, you've got a face like a beetroot, can't breathe, freckles everywhere.
Gav has to put a factor 20 on in December. Never mind first game of the season.
Yeah, to go to
but
bed.
It's the worst feeling when you've got those heavy legs. You don't know why it's happened.
Oh, mate. Well, I knew because we'd been stuck in a hotel for 2 days, Dave. And we knew exactly what had gone on. And then when I had to put these Puma Kings on, they were like the new range. And my days, they were terrible.
I think that's a bit like for teams who stay overnight, even for night games. That makes sense. So you play on Tuesday night, but you travel on the Monday. You're in the hotel all day on the Monday.
There's nothing worse.
Everyone used to feel like crap when it got to the game.
But most clubs I played at, you'd sort of go on the Monday, if you played Tuesday night, and then you'd have you'd stop, go in the hotel Tuesday, have a sleep on Tuesday afternoon. So you'd wake up in the hotel at 4 o'clock on the afternoon and ready, and go and have your pre-match. But outside it'd be raining or whatever, and you'd wake up in your bed and you just think, you feel terrible.
Not good.
You're trying to get the right amount of sleep, aren't you? And you go, it's pre-match and you don't feel like eating, but you think, I've got to eat something, so I'm kicking off in 2.5 hours.
But you're massively in between everywhere, right? That's what it's exactly what happened to us. We're just in between, no real routine of when to eat. You sleep, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Everybody's going for a sleep, so I should really go for a sleep. And then you think, well, I'm not really that person that needs a sleep. It's horrible.
I think nowadays, even sometimes for home games, they all meet up, don't they, beforehand? And
most teams will stop the night before as well for home games.
Even for home games,
like the top teams would.
I only knew that Troy Deeney. I had Ellis Deeney play for me at Telford, and then we played Orient in the semi-finals, and we trained at Watford's training ground a couple of days before. I'd learnt from my mistakes of obviously in the trophy final. Troy was there, and I was saying to him, got a game tomorrow and we're off to see the family. He's like, no, we're off into the hotel now, that's me done. So he'd train on the Friday morning, obviously you know all this day, but train on the Friday morning, he's off to the hotel. I was like,
I suppose the thinking behind that is just to get you away from your family and the kids and all the other pressures and just concentrate on football. But I don't know, is it not better in some ways to be in your own bed? I wouldn't have liked that. I'd rather I never used to really like stopping in the hotels night before.
I'd prefer to be at home.
I liked it, to be fair, stopping in hotels if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Just because you could have a bit of a lie-in. I think more when I had kids, because when the kids are up in the morning, even if you're going to have a lie-in and say your wives are amazing, they kind of let you take charge.
You're still up though, aren't you?
But you can still hear them, and you're still awake at 7, 8 o'clock. Whereas in a hotel, you can really relax. But not for night games though. That's a long old day. It's a long old day in a hotel,
isn't it? And you'd be hanging around waiting for it. And I never liked that.
I remember when we played. I don't know if you remember, we played Carlisle away. It was a Tuesday night, muddy, horrible. We drew 1-1, and Gary Peters had said we're going to go up on the day, and everyone was like, oh, and I was a bit like, brilliant. I'd rather just travel up on the day and not stay in a hotel. But everyone expected us to be in a hotel. But Tuesday night, he's like, no, we'll set off Tuesday. I think we had a meal in a hotel on the way, but we drew 1-1. Felt so much better for it.
What we did at a few clubs that I played at, you travel up early on the Tuesday morning, have some lunch when you got there, so arrive in the hotel at 12, then you'd have a sleep sleep from 1 till 4, and then you'd get up, wouldn't you? But it's
I
like
thought
a 3 hour window.
Worse that was, because you was up early, weren't you?
Yeah, so then have a 3 hour window to try and get the sleep. Depends who you room with, though, doesn't it? I mean, that would be a good podcast, because some people would be sound with that, other people.
Roommates,
If you've got some nutter with you who's not sleeping or something, just give us a yawn.
Lee Hughes was a good roommate.
Must have had some worse grinds as well then, lads.
Luton for me, I used to hate that. I used to hate Barnet. The Barnet away. I remember
Underhill, wasn't it?
Was it just a grass hill that fans were there? I remember Martin Allen being the manager there. That was horrible.
That place was
as well.
We went there with Shrewsbury, and all of the electricity went out.
Yeah, I was going to say this as well. Yeah.
All the electricity went out.
During we were already warming up, weren't we?
Yeah, we were warming up. Everything just went down. So they sent us back to the changing rooms. We had probably the best hour I've had in a changing room. Flipping, we had that lad, that goalkeeper on loan, wasn't it? Ashley Timms.
Yeah,
Ashley,
do
you remember him?
Yeah.
And we had him doing all sorts in the team. We're just having a laugh in the changing room. Then they come back. Did we end up playing?
No, so this is a lot more of a kind of a story after that. I was thinking about this before, and we got to a point where Gary Peter said, right, the game's going to be off. Like, we're waiting in the change rooms from about maybe 2:30 to it's getting to like 3:30 now.
It got to the point where we wanted it off as well.
Yeah, it's going to be off. So just go out on the pitch. We're going to do a few doggies, bit of a five-a-side, because then you can have tomorrow on the Sunday off as usual. So we went out, and as we're doing these five-a-sides, all of a sudden, game's back on, lads. So we're back into...
I've just two-footed Gav in the corner there.
And we kicked off about 4:30 or something silly. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
so we went back out and talk about feeling leggy. We were all over the place. First half, it was one of those games where you're just nowhere near it. You are absolutely can't make a tackle, can't win ahead of nothing. And we're 1-0 down at half time. We get back in the changing rooms and everyone's kind of like fiddling with their shin pads, doing their boots, muttering, not really having a go at anyone, but just usual dressing room. And sort of 2 minutes has gone past, 3 minutes has gone past. Gets about 5 minutes and the lads are like, Gaffer not coming in. Wait a bit longer. Then somebody says, I don't think he's going to come in here. Somebody should say something. I always remember Jamie Todd, he goes, I've basically been player manager this season anyway, so I'll take it here, boys. But then, obviously, the Gary Peters didn't come in. And I think, remember, Neil Sorville, Kevin Sharp, them boys kind of took it, said, "Con." It's almost like, we was like, right, let's go show him then. He hasn't even got the respect.
It was psychology, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's psychology. Didn't we? We lost 1-0, didn't we?
Oh, no. I was waiting for the big deal.
We had a great night out that night, though.
And we done them 3-0.
We got home about 12 o'clock. It was ridiculous.
We had a good night out when we got back, though, didn't we? I remember that.
But that's obviously never happened to me before that, and it's never happened since, where a manager hasn't come in or the assistant.
Yeah, he used to love all that gal, didn't he? He used to love all of that.
It was so weird. You just sitting waiting and think, right. And then the next thing you hear, the referee blow his whistle. Second half, he's like, right, then, let's go back out. No subs. No subs.
We once got a game delayed. We're playing Grimsby away. You might remember this one with. I don't think you'd have been there, Dave. I don't know. We're playing Grimsby away, and we're in the hotel.
That's another great.
The lads are all messing about, obviously, and we're going to go in the lift. Yeah. And there's maximum 8 people. So obviously, it's me, Luke.
I was in there, mate.
Were you in the lift,
mate?
Dave? So there's Tolly, Mossy, there's Bavo, Greg Rioch, all the lads and that. So we've all pilots. So there's 13 of us in the lift. So the lift's gone everybody's pressing all the buttons level 3. Just started to go up. Just gone stuck. Lift stuck, can't get out halfway up. So we managed to trying to pull the doors open, and we managed to get the doors open a little bit, but the floor is same eye level.
Yeah.
So the floor is eye level. So we're going,
not enough room to get out.
So we're going, oh no, we can't get out. We can't get out. Who was outside? Might have been Luke. Outside.
Yeah, Luke.
Luke's outside. So Luke's in bits, laughing his head.
The worst person in the world.
Jimmy Quinn and Dave Cook were managers at the time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was them.
So the last person you want on the other side of the doors is him.
Person. So there's 13 of us, and the whole team's in there.
So hot, Gav. So hot.
Boiling up. 13 of us. It's not comfortable. It's a bit claustrophobic. Luke, you're going to have to go and get some help. He's just laughing. He's got a Lucozade bottle. He's squirting us with a Lucozade bottle, all in the club tracksuits. So in the end,
he's good like that, Luke.
Oh, he's really helpful, really helpful. So he's just laughing himself, and we're oh no, we're going, we're stuck. We're going nowhere, yeah. So I had to go and get the gaffer. Luke's had to go and get the gaffer.
Dave Cook came and he was just telling jokes.
He's there. But we're stuck in this lift. We bust the lift. There's 13 of us, obviously, in the end.
Scary it was.
Yeah, in the end, fire service come. Didn't these 2 firemen came?
We were in there for probably over an hour.
Yeah, must have been in there for an hour. Yeah.
It was on the way back from pre-match.
I thought you were about to say.
This is 1 o'clock, so obviously we've been in there for an hour. So we're in there it's 2:10, kicking off at 3 o'clock. We're all still in the lift, brilliant. Sweating like mad. Obviously it's funny, isn't it? The first, 5-10 minutes, it's funny, messing about and all that. Everybody's trying to grab each other and everything. But then everyone's getting a little bit uncomfortable, boiling hot. Everyone's starting to take their tracksuit top off, 13 of us. And in the end, the firemen's come with a crowbar somehow and managed to force the doors open. And somehow, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether they got a pulley or something and managed to pull it down a little bit. And I remember we all climbed out. one at a time.
But yeah, I remember obviously we're just about to go to a game, so everyone's like hydrated and everything like that, and they've got water bottles on them, but all the lads are desperate to go to the toilet. So boys just edging up into the corner, quickly going to the toilet in a bottle. It was horrible. It was disgusting.
Yeah, but it was funny at first.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah, the kickoff got delayed. We kicked off at like 3:30 or something, didn't we? A quarter to 4.
That's
I remember like Cookie's just laughing, and Jimmy Quinn afterwards like, right lads, like next time you go in the lift, obviously if it says 8 people, don't put in more than 8 people. I was like, yeah, brilliant, Jimmy. Hey, I never thought of that.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, that was funny. Grimsby.
What a great ground that is as well, Grimsby. Yeah. Obviously horrible in all the horrible ways, but again, another one.
A strange days where it's almost like they just added bits on as they've gone along, haven't they? They've got the one big stand, and there's a different stand behind the goal. There's like half a stand where the dugouts are.
That's it,
yeah. I nearly signed for Grimsby. I went up there with my agent, and he offered me a 2-year deal. Russell Slade it was. So I've agreed to sign and everything. So I'd rang Holly. I'd already said to Holly, we'd already been to Yeovil. She thought, first I was going to sign for Yeovil, so she looked at houses in Yeovil. Then it was Darlington, and I failed the medical at Darlington, looked at houses in Newcastle. Then I was like, Grimsby.
Is this when you went Northampton?
No.
Did you sign No.
So I've gone Grimsby. Holly's like, Grimsby, what's that like? I said, really nice. I was all set to sign there, and it was nice, the ground. And I remember looking around. Then as I was coming back, and Brian Little rang me from Tranmere, and I'd already agreed to sign. I'd said to Russell Slade, I'll sign, and then I rang him up and said, I'm not signing, but I'd already agreed. Agreed. You hammered me.
Did he?
Like, fuming on the phone, had a right go at me. Then he put in the paper, like, players are the first to whinge if someone moves the goalposts, but then when players do it to like clubs, it's acceptable. I was like, never mind, Russell, at least I'm not living in Grimsby.
Flipping, we went up there on the first game of the season. We were 2-0 up in the first 15 minutes, or scored the second one. So we were like flying, and they were like the favourites for the league. We absolutely bopped them off the pitch, and their supporters started walking out after 25 minutes. So we're like going, don't go. Like, we're having a brilliant time. Like, you know, the atmosphere is unbelievable. Like, don't go. And literally, I reckon 50% of their fans vacated the ground. We were just like, anyway, bopped them, ended up winning 2-1. And they struggled. But, like, you're just thinking, I think that was in the conference, you're thinking a club like that shouldn't really be in that league. Yeah, it shouldn't really be in that league.
You ever play Stadium of Light? You ever play Stadium of Light? How did you find that?
I played a few times. Played the last season for Shrewsbury, and then I scored there for Reading. That was good.
Was that when they were like, wasn't been full?
No, it wouldn't have been full. I always find it quite easy to play there, because I imagine it's a bit like
it's one of them again. Is like Gary was saying before. If it's a big ground and it's empty, it's like, but you know, it's not the same.
You knew the fans were going to go.
Yeah, if you get an early goal,
people used to always say about Wolves to us, but you just know if you went to Sunderland and you got on top of them and they didn't really have many chances, if you got the first goal, then it's
especially when they were
pretty much game over. You can sit and just go.
I just think because when it's a big club like that, they're already a little bit disillusioned, aren't they? Because they're used to, you know, they can remember being in the Premiership, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think as well? Like, obviously, the League One now, aren't they?
Yeah. And they just got pumped 6-0, didn't they, by Bolton?
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know when this comes out. We've got to be careful about talking about timings, because if Wits doesn't like this, it doesn't come out for the 4 weeks. That's going to not be old news.
But do you think they suffer a little bit? Well, I'm assuming they do. Obviously, big ground, massive club. You've obviously got clubs in that league that aren't really on the same level as them in terms of history and all of that. They go there and they just have a day out.
It's brilliant, though, isn't it? I mean, how much you love to play at the Stadium of Light. You know, you're playing in League One, lads. Love playing there.
Yeah. It was definitely an obstacle as well at Telford, being the manager there. Obviously, in that league, I know it's like a world away, but in that league, obviously, it's a stadium. It's a good,
beautiful pitch.
Yeah, amazing, beautiful pitch now.
More fans than anywhere else, more or less.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. And you think like obviously players are playing at like Farsley, they're playing at, you know, with the greatest respect, Leamington, you know, which are like at that level, like good enough places. But Telford's just obviously that next couple of levels in terms of they've got a good history, they've got a good ground. It was definitely an obstacle. Every single, like, because teams would come and go, fancy this.
Yeah,
love this.
Without a doubt.
Like,
I used to love it at Shrewsbury when you used to go and play a big team, or a notoriously big team.
Everyone does.
But we had it at Wolves. We went down to League One.
The same thing. Everybody. Well, you said, didn't you, at the start of your season, everybody comes to Wolves and they're all smashing.
Absolutely bopping it. They get a little bit of confidence, and all of a sudden you got teams like, I remember that season Swindon came and they absolutely bopped us.
Getting passed off.
Honestly, passed off the park. It was ridiculous.
All the fans. It's fine. You have got to have.
Did it as well.
You've got to have players with such an unbelievable mentality to combat that.
Yeah.
Because like I see that firsthand of like teams come and they like put 25% on their game. I'd say to my players, I'd say, these are coming here today. Obviously, we've done our due diligence on them, but they will be 25% better just because they're playing here. That's what you've got to combat. You've got to have the mentality to be able to deal with that. Must happen at all levels. Can you imagine how good players like at Man United, when they obviously dominate for 20 years, how good they've got to be when obviously they're up against it?
Like the prime example is Liverpool at the moment. I mean, Liverpool's the best day out for most footballers in this country. It's an iconic stadium. People talk there, but then Liverpool just can't. Teams just can't live with them because of the pace they play at and how good they are.
Levels again.
Yeah, but no, it's always nice to play at a good stadium, isn't it? And I think that adds. But so as you said, with Sunderland, it was just
What about it, Dave? What about it when you're the big team and you go into a rubbish ground? That happened a few times.
Yeah.
So if you're Wolves that season, suddenly you're going to Notts County away.
Yeah,
I mean, Notts County.
I've got a few here. What we went to Gillingham. We lost 1-0. Horrible place to play. Gillingham is. It is. I hate. I don't think I've ever won there. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's almost because you've got the one end with no stands, haven't you? And it's weird. The tunnel is, or say the tunnel. It's almost like down the side of a brick building, isn't it? Where they change around. It's like a wind tunnel. Just gets up. But we lost there, and we lost at Crawley as well. Horrible place to go and play Crawley.
You lost at Crawley.
We lost at Crawley. Yeah, lost at Gillingham with Wolves. It's a massive game for them. Do you know what I mean?
Huge.
And everyone's there and they're getting it going. It's not a great stadium.
And they're fighting for everything. They're turning it into a scrap. You're trying to play on Crawley's pitch, which is just sand at the time. It's just ridiculous.
But they've had all the sand out, haven't they, the day before, haven't they? Just covered it in sand. There's no reason to put all the sand
all them
on
little
there.
tricks. They do play a part, don't they? Like me and Sam have spoken about. Obviously, when you're on the pitch and you're trying to get yourself going, like that mentality, like it's not going well for you on that day, and you're actually talking to yourself, saying, "Come on, you could, you've got to get your legs going, win the next header." Yeah. Like there's players who've just got unbelievable mentality to be. That's why the FA Cup's so good, isn't it? It's just such a leveler, isn't it? Because you've got players at a higher level having to go down to a lower level, and they've got to combat all of the things that lower level comes with. The changing rooms, like you say, some of them don't want to walk around a corner because it's not architecturally right.
But I think the difficulty sometimes now is that the pitches are better though, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, like nowadays, say if you're Wolves and you go to Telford, or you're still playing on an unbelievable surface,
like
which counts against.
When West Ham go to Kidderminster, they're not going to their pitch is lovely.
Yeah, they're not going to a mud heap, are they? It's not covered in sand. They're not going to get. Well, they've got to try and turn it into a scrap, haven't they? But it'll still be a lovely surface where they'll be knocking the ball about.
Yeah,
but get done 8-0.
But when we was playing at Shrewsbury, sort of 15 years ago, so at the Gay Meadow, Christmas time, the winter, we used to pick up all our results. People used to watch them come out the tunnel. When you come and check the pitch for the game, they'd walk out and you'd see them
in their white night trainers,
and they'd be squelching onto the pitch, and they're just thinking, you just see them shaking their heads to each other, and we used to just roll teams over. We could be dead and buried going into November, then all of a sudden we come out in January, we're sort of halfway up the table just because we pick up results at Christmas.
I'd be wearing me Puma Kings with the longest 6-inch metal studs in on the left wing like that. I'd be going, they're looking there right back going, you better be ready for scrap today, mate.
I remember we played
who we played the weekend? Shrewsbury.
He's in his pink boots and everything and his little all in white kit. I thought you're in for a tough time today, pal.
I remember Gary Peters would do everything to get a game on as well, because it used to obviously the flooding was bad. When we played Chester, and he was like, we are getting this game on. I've got visions of him with this huge roller which would have like a sponge around the outside, and he was just rolling it up and down himself, the manager, and he had to take this sponge off and like squeeze it out, put it back on the roller, do another lap, and he was doing that in the morning.
Games on, lads.
What was he like with his studs?
Ready.
Do you remember with the studs?
Mate, he used to go around checking, didn't he?
Check your studs. Like, he'd go out and I'd have my copers on. He'd go, no. What? They're all right. I've got my studs in. He'd go, no, the back ones aren't long enough. Yeah. And you go, Gaffer, they're like 4 inches long.
Every manager I've ever played with, though, if you've slipped over, it was straight away. Like Peter Reid, Brian Little, any of them, we'd all be going, is he wearing rubbers? Is he wearing rubbers? I'd be sitting there, if he was the left winger, now I'd be going, I think he is, Gaffer.
Just before you go out, check your footwear, check your footwear.
Make sure you get your footwear right.
Yeah.
I remember that at the Gay Meadow, they'd all come out, especially when you're playing someone from down south or something, like, and they'd all come out, all the Cockneys, and they were there, and they were like white night Air Max, and that come on the pitch, there's mud everywhere. Wrong choice of footwear, lads.
Not played here before, no?
Yeah, first time at the Gay Meadow, lads, is it? Oh, never mind, they'll come out.
And again, that's those old grounds, isn't it? Like, one I mentioned right at the top of the podcast was like Aldershot. Like, always remember, like, with them. And
I played there.
can you not remember playing there?
I must.
The recreation ground, mate. It's brilliant. Like the supporters there are your total stereotypical. If you can, you got to try and quieten them after 20 minutes. If they don't get anything within 20 minutes, they start getting on their own team. They've got like a huge fan base behind one goal that's like really deep, like, the stand's really deep. And then I went, when we played for Telford, when we played Orient in the semi-final of the trophy, I went to watch them against Aldershot midweek. And obviously I played there and I used to love playing there. I had a good time and had a couple of absolute howlers there as well. But went there to watch the game and it was just like the atmosphere was just brilliant. And because of the ground, the way it's shaped, situated, I got two moments I remember there. I've got some brilliant moments, but two of the ones that were quite funny was... Well, first one wasn't. It was we were playing top of the table clash against Aldershot, and it was like 0-0. Really like half time. Everyone's in brilliant. Like we were all over them, solid and all of that. He said, let's just keep it tight. Just keep it tight for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Game plan.
So the ball's gone down the side. I've gone on my left foot, on my favoured foot. Danny Potter, the goalkeeper's brilliant angle. I've looked up, seen him, no problem. Gone to pass.
No danger,
Gone to pass it. Keep it tight, lads. First 5-10 minutes, keep it tight.
GC's here. Relax, everyone.
Gavin's ball. Run onto it. Passed it back under hit. So it's not a great start. Pitch wasn't ideal. Again, all of the things that we've said about them brilliant grounds. But as Potsy's come onto it, he's gone to kick it. And to be fair, he could have put his laces through it and probably would have been all right. But because he didn't duck out of it, but because he sort of tried to be a bit clever, the lads called it off him, gone through and scored. It was 1,000,000% my fault. To this day, I've not owned up to it. So we go on, obviously top of the table clash, keep it tight, lads, 1-0 down, lose 4-0, go in the changing room, and they're all on Potsy getting absolutely, he's getting out, you got to put your foot through that. And I'm thinking, I've got a decision to make here. I've gone, Potsy, you got to get your foot through it.
Man.
Get your foot through, Potsy.
Hey, killed us there, Gaffer Potsy.
When he's on his own on the coach, like crying in the car, I'm like, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Got released that year.
He done well that year, and I was thinking, oh god, I was like proper got stuck into him. Potsy, you got to be better. Then the other one was right before the game. We're walking out the tunnel, and the sprinklers on the pitch. Their groundsman's obviously thought he's going to be clever.
Oh, he's happening all the time now.
So I thought, I'm not having this. And what he's done is let the sprinkler off, and it's gone all like hit us, like proper, smack one of the lads, like clean in the face. And they're quite strong, and when they come out, they can be quite... But he thinks it's hilarious, and he's dining out on us here, and I thought, I'm not having this. So I've grabbed this bucket, and I've gone to throw it over him, got him a bit, and I started chasing him. Literally for about 5 minutes, we're doing this whole, like jockeying to the left, jockeying to the right. I'm chasing him all up and down the stands. Got him. Dragged him back down the stand, and then there was a bin. It must have been raining or something, but there was a bin half full of water, and we all just got him, tipped him upside down, and dunked him in this water. Proper dunking him in the water, everything. Yeah, and he thought it was hilarious. He loved it. But yeah, brilliant. He was unconscious by the end of it, but he was all right. But just them grounds, I love talking about them. Do you know what I mean? There's some like
the FA Cup ones are great as well. Did you play at Histon, Sam, when we lost there?
I was trying to remember that. I thought it was Hinckley, Histon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've played there.
That was horrendous, wasn't it?
But that's when it's worse, them small grounds, because we got beat. Didn't we 2-0 in the FA Cup off Histon?
Comfortably beat as well.
Comfortably beat.
They played us off the park.
But like I'm on the left wing, and you're literally like 5 yards from the fans and the Shrewsbury fans, because we took over the ground again. We took 1,000. Like I think the attendance was probably 1,100.
Cambridge, did it? Histon, Cambridge way.
Yeah, it was horrendous, wasn't it? And like the abuse we received. And it's not like when you're playing it in front of 25,000 where it's just noise, isn't it? You can hear every single word, everything that they're saying. And you've had a nightmare anyway. We've all had a nightmare. I remember going...
I think it was after Jimmy Quinn had got sacked, and it's a poor Chick Bates. Took charge. That was his first game.
It was a massive fight. We all had a big fight, didn't we? In the dressing room afterwards, everybody's kicking off, blaming each other, forwards blaming the defenders, midfielders, and everybody's fighting, throwing boots and that. It was a big scrap.
You're in trouble when you turn up to the ground. It's happened quite a few times in my career where you get there, you put your bag in and said, right, starting 11, get changed, subs, you'll have to wait your turn. Because it was so small in there. The subs are there waiting outside. Give us some room, lads,
give us some room.
But you get a few of those. But they're tough places to go, aren't they? Them sort of games. Horrible. You're praying you get the first goal.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've got nothing to gain, have you? You're just thinking, let's get a goal, lads.
And if they smell blood,
but I mean,
they all of a sudden the feathers come out, don't they? The old peacock feathers come out.
Yeah,
I reckon that's one of the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
I've played. Would that be for you, Dave?
Yeah, definitely. Just nothing went right. Pitch was terrible. We were just rubbish. All of us were terrible, weren't we?
I can remember like trying to run out to play, and I was like, oh my god.
The way you're talking is like half my career.
I remember that was horrible. I took some getting over that, and I think it was just because the atmosphere was so like it was like Leo Ramai again when that season where Shrewsbury have just taken over. So, you've got to put on a show.
You've not seen anything until you've played Workington away.
I don't think I've played there.
Same thing. Yeah, got sent off after the final whistle. That was good. Brilliant journey home. Gaffer was buzzing. Teammates are loving it. Yeah, cheers.
I think the worst thing about an FA Cup suit is that it's going to be talked about for years. So when it's brought up or you got an away tie at a non-league club, they'll keep going back. The town fans still talk about it. I don't know. Do you remember Histon away? And you're associated with that. And
I didn't say no.
Total denial. Isn't that like part of the romance of it as well, though? Like, because of that season,
there was a lot of romance knocking around the dressing room afterwards.
No, I'm sure, but like when you reminisce about that season, of course you talk about the playoff final, and of course you talk about some of the big moments, and obviously the togetherness and that. But wasn't it all made brilliant? And you wouldn't have known it at the time, of course, because of them moments. Because of them moments of going to places like that. It makes the job that you did all the better.
It makes the good times better, I suppose, because you've had the bad times. But I mean, it's one thing you find about football, though, isn't it? Like the ups and downs. Yeah. I mean, that was. I reckon that is probably, apart from injuries.
We were obviously on a bad run. So it was the year after we got promoted. So we were in League Two.
Oh, okay.
League Two,
and Jimmy Quinn had just got sacked. So we're obviously on a bad run.
That does make it worse.
That makes it worse because we were League. I don't know what division they were in, but I remember they were. But I remember them.
The Evo prick stick sellotape.
It was like. I'm sure. I mean, maybe but I'm sure it was just like the white barriers. You used to have the school final. When you're like 12.
What you see on a race, like a horse race track.
It's like the white barriers around there. So we just got all our like the whole crowds there. And oh no, horrible that. No hiding place. I remember playing for Shrewsbury and we lose or draw to Telford.
Yeah, that was bad, wasn't it? Remember we had to walk off into the corner at Telford?
Yeah. I remember everybody's giving us loads of abuse there as well.
We lost 2-1.
We didn't do well, did we, in that season against Telford, did we? Did we draw or something?
Well, we lost away 2-1, didn't we? With Sam Ricketts squad header. Not good. Some horrible places that season. Do you remember Farnborough as well? That was one of the worst grades I played at. That's one of the worst.
I'd have raised Farnborough from my mind.
I can't even remember some of them.
That was one of the worst
Farnborough stadiums
I played at.
Yeah, there's some right stinkers, isn't there?
I remember Oldham always being horrible. I remember Oldham being quite like their fans kicking off a little bit. I remember being sub. Being sub was a nightmare if you were playing somewhere because you get loads of abuse off the fans, wouldn't you? I was trying to stretch. Get out of the way. I remember at Oldham. There was this fan. I was warming up, and they just giving you loads as well, like slagging your hair, like everything, this, that, and the other, giving me loads. I remember I was getting stripped to go on. I remember I had like one of their water bottles, and I've just turned around and squirted it, and it's gone right in his face in the crowd, like, and all his mates are laughing their heads off. I was buzzing. And he's then sort of gone to tell the steward. So he's telling the steward, and the steward started walking towards me. But like then I was coming, my number's gone on, so I've run on the pitch. I'm on the pitch going, I see you later. Mate.
Supporters like giving it, they don't like receiving it, do they?
It wasn't really Cantona, I think it's Crystal Palace, but I caught him in the face with a water bottle. I was delighted with myself.
Oldham is horrible. You have to walk half up the stand to get into the dressing room, don't you? It's up there.
Yeah,
we played there only a few years ago. I played there, and it's bad enough because before a game, loads of the lads will have to go to the toilet, won't they? I don't know if it's what they've eaten, nerves or whatever. But at Oldham, it's that small. They've got one toilet, and the door is behind the toilet, if that makes sense. So if you try and pull it, it hits the toilet, so it doesn't shut at all. It's the worst design thing. So lads are just sat on the toilet in the middle of the dressing room, everyone looking at them. It's just the worst experience. But yeah, that's just not a nice place. It's a bit better now because they just built a new stand, I think, haven't they, on one side. There's loads of those stadiums. A lot up in the northwest as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Stockport,
that's
places
what I
like
like
that.
The northwest as well as just
Bury was the same.
See, it's funny. I used to love playing at Stockport. I know, it's horrible in it because when you go down that tunnel and you got to go all the way to the bottom, and it's like bare brick, horrible, and all that in it. But when you get out onto the pitch, I quite enjoyed playing at Stockport.
I used to love
Rochdale.
Rochdale. I never liked it there. Horrible there. I
remember when I was at Sunderland, and I must have been like 18. I remember we went on a pre-season tour of like we played Bury and Chester. And I remember going like, football doesn't go well, lads. You'll end up playing here. I was there on loan 2 years. 3 months.
That is a bad stadium, the Diva Stadium, isn't it? The Breeze Block Stadium.
Is it a corner of it's in Wales, isn't it, or something in 3 corners? I think.
Has there been a big thing about that recently?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
football
suppose
was banned in Wales, wasn't it? So
Yeah, so they couldn't play in that corner of the pitch.
I suppose like,
Cone it
I
off.
quite
Just
like
cone
that
that area off there.
I quite like the home games. I always preferred when you got used to the ground. It's like Britannia, and I used to like playing there, and Tranmere's and stuff. I like playing the home games because you got used to it a little bit. And I suppose I never really played at a club where their stadium was terrible. Quite lucky. Like Northampton was
Chester
always
wasn't
nice.
great.
Chester wasn't great, no.
Northampton, great
like
little
in-
ground. Sixfields, isn't it? Northampton.
Sixfields.
That's one of my worst. Northampton was. That was horrible. The pitch was always terrible. Quite a small stand all the way round, isn't it?
We played there for Shrewsbury and Stewie White got sent off.
No, these
Do you
games
remember he
just got them.
headbutted Scott McLeish? Do you not
Yeah,
remember?
I played with Scott. It's got
Stewie's like, I think we lost 2-0. And it all happened right over by the dugout. And as they've got up, so Scott McLeish has given Stewie something. I can't remember what he did. I think Stewie landed a nut on him, but tried to be clever about it. You know, the old, the one of them. But McLeish obviously experience. He knows the score. That he went straight down. Yeah, and I think we lost 2-0. I think GP was absolutely fuming.
Got the big hill, haven't you, behind the goal where people just sit and watch the game.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah,
you can stand at the top, can't you? Save yourself a tenner.
Yeah.
Amazing. So is there any more to add? Is there any sort of
I think that's probably
stadiums you can think of?
My memory's awful. I can't remember a lot.
We've covered a lot there, haven't we? Though there's like we've gone for a right range there. Europe, some unbelievable like Anfield, and then gone all the way down to Histon,
No,
Aldershot.
Like you mentioned Histon.
Yeah.
Histon near Cambridge.
Express this water.
No, brilliant.
I think my favourite. Then I'm going to say Nottingham Forest. What's your favourite? I just mean in terms of memories. Like not the best stadium, but just memories. What would you say in terms of memories then, Gav?
Oh, me? You're going to come to me? I don't know. It's a hard one for me. I struggle to look away from the Gay Meadow in terms of memories.
Yeah,
but
obviously the Gay Meadow.
I think that, like, for me there, like, I had some brilliant moments there, like, personally as well, with family coming to the games and people who I hadn't seen for a while. It's hard for... I played, obviously, lower level for the most part, didn't I? So it's hard to come out, but I think...
One that's your favourite, not necessarily the best, just one that you've got good memories of.
Yeah, good memories. I'd have to have a good think about it. That's a hard one for me to answer on the spot. I think...
Well, a bit of research prior to doing the stadium.
Well, you've just been saying there, you've got a terrible memory, so...
Yeah, but so I've done a bit of research, so I've tried...
Did you come up with nothing? All right, you're pushing me now. Villa Park. Just because on the day I was completely humbled by the place. I remember running from up for a corner and they had the boxes and you could see your reflection as we were running. And I remember looking at myself just thinking, brilliant. Even if it all finishes now, like you've done this, fantastic. It was a little bit bitter that it should have been at Wembley and it had been knocked down and we had to play at Villa Park. But that moment there got me thinking, if it all ends now, at least you've achieved, you've played on this brilliant pitch in this stadium. Yeah, amazing.
I'd say probably in terms of memory, so I loved Gay Meadow. That was sort of such a big part of my life early on. I haven't mentioned it yet, but Molineux, I had some great times at Molineux. Some of the best moments on a football pitch were there when I've scored, and that actual 5-10 seconds of pure joy and emotion, the actual rush, not as a whole experience of the game, but that exact moment where you just feel like you want to bottle that emotion up. I remember I scored the winner against Leeds to win 4-3 in like the last minute in front of the South Bank.
No better feeling.
Incredible. Took us into the playoffs Easter weekend. Like that was just magical.
What was that header?
Header, yeah. But then at the
Arriving late.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's also one of the most difficult places to play as well, Molineux. When things are tough, it can be toxic there. Do you know what I mean? The year we got relegated, there's a pitch invasion at the end. They stamped through the dugouts, everything. It's
the expectation. The same as Newcastle and that same as what's saying about Sunderland. You know, when it's going well, brilliant. But there's such an expectation if things aren't.
And it happens at all levels. Yeah. Telford is the same. They have a huge, and understandably, they've had good history. They've got a huge expectation. You know, is it realistic? It's hard, isn't it? Because, like you say, Wolves, when they're in League One, there's a reason that they're there, isn't it? It's
but then
hard to reason with that.
I've been there recently, and I've been to some away games, Wolves games, like recently in the Premier League. Been to Molineux a few times, and it is just magical there at the moment. Really that's like they're such a big asset to the team. Yeah, they really. It's a bit cliche, the 12th man, but they really are, especially at Molineux. So that's a real special place. I think the best time I've had on a football pitch would be I started the first game of the Euros, which is like just the pinnacle for me. Never ever thought I'd play in a major tournament, but to actually start, sing the anthems. We're playing in Bordeaux, so it's 50,000 people there, singing the anthems and looking at the Welsh fans. Always remember looking at the big screen as we're singing, just as we're finishing the last line of the anthem. There's just a Welsh fan on his knees, crying his eyes out, just screaming the anthem. You think, wow, this is just incredible. That was the sort of the best moment, the best memories. And I was quite lucky. I was a little bit older. I was 30 at the time. So you take it in a little bit more as well. When I go back to my Shrewsbury days, there's so many games I can't remember.
Yeah.
Whereas the latter part of my career, I think I wanted to take it in more because I knew it wasn't going to last forever. And I was a bit more mature. And I was lucky that happened at that stage.
You can appreciate the moment. You make yourself in the moment, don't you? When you're a kid, like I even reflect on there, it just whizzed by. You can't remember.
You're too worried about the game, aren't you? You're too worried about the football.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas when you get older, you can go, hold on a minute.
You get that present moment, don't you?
Take this in.
Yes, I definitely, and I had some good memories. Like I had some I was captain at Anfield as well, and we won with Wolves there in the FA Cup. That was
It was
special.
captain of Liverpool for them. That'd be
Lucas Laver was that day. They had a bit of a change team, but that was special. I remember we were stood in the middle doing the huddle before the game, and they're singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And usually in the huddle, you're like, "Right, lads, first minute, let's get it." And I remember just sitting there and said, just listen to this, boys. Just don't say anything now. This could be the best day of your lives. It really could. So just take it in. And we just stood there for about 20-30 seconds listening to all the crowd singing "You Never Walk Alone," and like little moments.
I think that's brilliant, Dave, that you've done that. I think that's better than trying to shout over the top and go on lads, win your battles and all the cliches. Just go, this is it.
Listen to that.
And I said this could be the best day of your footballing life today.
How good is Dave at narrating? I feel like I'm there. When you talk about Red Star Belgrade, I was like, I'm there.
What a great
mate, set the scene, amazing. I love it.
Well done, lads. That's it then.
Class.
Well done, everybody.
Cheers,
thanks very much for listening. You can find us on @InTheStiffs on Twitter,
Instagram, Facebook. Email is inthestiffs@gmail.com.
And again, with plenty of feedback, we're always trying to improve. We have got some guests lined up.
Right, Kev away, he's got some belters.
Yeah, we've just got to wait till half term because I'm too busy.
Can we not just say now? Can we not just put it out there?
We're waiting till half term, aren't
Please, Wits, can we just... come on.
Got to wait till half term.
All right, but if I let something slip on social media or something, then...
Right, well done, lads. Thanks very much for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Brilliant.
See you later.
Absolutely brilliant.